evening and welcome to Massey United Insurance's Dine and Line. As we celebrate our 100th program, we're pleased to bring you this very special episode. To all our viewers on Scene TV and Digicel Sportsmax, we welcome you to Massey United Insurance's Dine and Line. Tonight, Barry Wilkinson is in Trinidad and Tobago and we join him on Skype. But we also take a look back at the CPL celebrations through the 2 years on Massey United Insurance's Dine and Line, as well as some of our very special guests. But when we come back, we talk to Barry Wilkinson on Skype.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
And welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Dine and Line. And as promised, Barry Wilkinson is on Skype from Trinidad and Tobago, to be precise, the Trinidad and Tobago Hilton. Barry, 100 episodes of Massey United Insurance's Dine and Line. How does it feel as the executive producer?
Well, hello, Andrew, and hello to all of our viewers. First of all, Andrew, I want to give thanks for being able to celebrate 100 episodes because, we were on air from 2003 to 2008. Program then was off about 5 years. So to come back and be on for so long with 100 episodes, I feel really proud, and I give God thanks for the opportunity that we've had and the inroads we've been able to create in not only promoting the game of cricket, but discussing serious issues. So it feels good to know that cricket fans out there can relate to us, be able to discuss the game that they so love, and do it in a way that is open and frank without being tasteless. And I'm really happy how things have gone.
In terms of the ability to get onto something like Digicel Sportsmax, that must have been a major coup. Obviously, it allowed the program to become very regional and, in fact, almost international at this stage.
Well, Andrew, first of all, you have to say that Digicel Sportsmax is growing so well and so big. There's not a week that we don't do a program that we don't get an email from someone in the Bahamas who follows cricket, or the Cayman Islands, or anywhere in the region that you would not expect. I mean, Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, Guyana to less extent are always the big markets. But to have a program being viewed in the Bahamas and to being viewed in Cayman and territories that cricket might not be thought to be penetrating, it is really humbling. So to be on Digicel Sportsmax is already a big deal. And yes, I mean, overall, it has been good to be on that network and also to be on some terrestrial stations as well in the region. Barbados, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, which is the biggest market, undoubtedly. I thank people like Mr. Paul Richards and Anissa Stapleton at CNMG for carrying it on their network, on terrestrial TV in Trinidad. And that is a very big deal because it's not always easy to get a dedicated program for half an hour, fully sponsored, to be on a show, to be on a program for that extended period of time.
In terms of the ability to be on Scene TV in North America and Canada now, I think, as you're aware, I think our families, in fact, watch the program on Scene TV in Toronto.
Yeah, we try to give maximum mileage to Massey United Insurance because they have been absolutely tremendous. And I know they're not in the States. So although it is on Scene TV, which is in the States, there are a lot of Barbadians, Trinidadians, Guyanese who live in the States that then by extension patronize Massey United Insurance by way of policies for their families and encouraging their families to get policies through Massey United Insurance so the program can stay on air and they can watch it. So those are some of the benefits that we have seen.
What are the future of the program, Barry? Many people have said to us, how do you manage to get all these people to come on Massey United Insurance Line and Line? It's not only you, it's me. We are able to attract some of the best guests. Going down the future, are we hoping to continue to do it that way?
Indeed, but what's funny, Andrew, is that we've been fortunate. I mean, you interviewed Herschel Gibbs, Sir Richard Branson. I mean, Sir Richard Branson is probably one of the biggest names in the world, and he was on our show. Gerard Butler, one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, was on our program, and these people have freely promoted the show without any interest, without asking for anything. But it's because they love cricket. Cricket is still a very big and marketable product, and that has contributed significantly towards the program being so popular. We have interspersed a couple of other disciplines that Mass United Insurance might sponsor, and they have been viewed with interest. But people primarily love the show because it gives them the freedom to talk about the sport they love, cricket. And like I said, you don't have Sir Gary Sobers, you don't have Sir Richard Branson, and people coming to talk all of these things because they like you. They're coming to talk about sport they love. And this is the avenue that we give people to talk about. Cricket, lovely cricket.
And it's West Indies cricket. Some people, in fact, I called it a soap opera last week on Mass United Insurance's Line of Life. And West Indies cricket is perhaps the best soap opera on TV at the moment. So it really gives us an opportunity to discuss never-ending issues. There are never-ending issues. How do you see West Indies cricket 2015 and beyond?
Like any discipline, there will always be issues. Like any thing that involves people and personalities, you will always have, I don't want to say problems per se, but you always have challenges. Mm-hmm. And right now the challenges might be heightened, but I don't think it makes any different than any other sport around the world. I mean, I was just watching on television the preview for the Super Bowl, and they're discussing that the ball used in the last match was actually deflated.
A softball.
And that is, a softball. And that is being debated all over the United States of America, but it's being debated making the Super Bowl more popular.
That's right.
So, people get a bit caught up with saying things like, oh, you're killing the sport not by doing this. You're not killing the sport, you're promoting the sport. It makes it interesting, it makes it more fascinating, and it has caused the sport to become such a legacy. West Indies cricket was built on the legacy of the performances, but also the politics of the cricket. And the politics of the cricket still remains in 2015, and when we are gone to the great beyond, it will still continue to be a topic.
And talking about the politics, certainly someone like Ralph Thorne and Philip Nichols, when they were on the program, Mass United Insurance's Line of Life, they certainly created an atmosphere. In fact, some of the most calls I ever got when we had the two lawyers together.
Yeah, and Ralph and Philip have been very good just to give us legal advice and also give us their thoughts on players.
Should we say, Barry, should we say pro bono advice?
Well, I wouldn't want to release financial details, but pro bono in the sense, yes. And also they've given cricketers advice via this program. Mm-hmm. So that is right. Also another avenue.
Well, as we look forward, we are in the middle of the Nagico Super 50. We are now going on to the regional, the PCL to continue the England tour. Certainly there is a lot of cricket. The World Cup is on its way. So there will be no shortage of discussion coming out of Mass United Insurance's Line of Life.
Indeed, we have, Andrew, something very special. I can't release it yet, but we have something very special once I get it confirmed for the Cricket World Cup. And then England series, Australia series. And don't forget the IPL is going to be on Digital Sports Max, so that comes in between there. The cricket is not stopping, Andrew. It's just flowing, and we're happy that people cannot be able to watch cricket 24/7. They're busy, they're doing things, but the show has given an avenue, an outlet for cricket fans to tune in and watch highlights and watch discussion of what has happened. And then, if they can't also tune in to watch our show, all of the episodes have been made available on lineandleft.net. You can go online now and watch episodes from last year. So anytime, anywhere, that's our slogan. Line and Length, anytime, anywhere, lineandleft.net.
Okay, thank you very much, Barry Wilkinson. You're watching Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. And
before you go, Andrew, I just want to thank yourself and Carlos Cox especially for creating lots of interesting segments.
And Neil Paris, Barry. And Neil Paris.
Yeah, I was gonna leave Neil for last because if not he'll edit me out, because he's the person whose work we see editing all the cricket and all the graphics and stuff. These guys have been tremendous, especially you, Andrew, who coordinates the program a lot sometimes. And I really want to single you guys out for being so good. And I really want to thank you. And last but not least, Massey United Insurance all of the staff there who have made a tremendous difference.
And as mentioned by Barry, when we come back, we're going to give you some snippets of some of the outstanding programs we've had so far on Massey United Insurance's Line on Line.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
And welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Zine and Lang. From the Caribbean Premier League, the CPL came to the Caribbean with a bang. Ajmal Khan is the man who brought it. We hear from him. We also hear from Kieran Foley of Digicel and Sir Richard Branson from Virgin Atlantic.
It's always very difficult for me to explain what I've done, but I think the audience and what we've been able to achieve here in the period of time that we've been able to do it in the last 5 months, with the teams that we've had and my friends from Digicel, I said it's not going to be a one-man show. It's going to take a lot of people to make this happen and put together. And I've been very fortunate that I've had a lot of great partners that have allowed me to make this happen. And you know what? The result at the end of the day is we've had a fantastic tournament here over the last 3 weeks.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, listen, it's, it's actually my first time in Trinidad, and but I love the West Indies and the Caribbean. I've been all over here. And but to come for this occasion, now to be involved in the league, it's been amazing. The people are so cool and they're fun. It's a big party,
Have you enjoyed? What's your favorite food so far?
Well, by the way, I just had some chocolate cake, which is not really like a local dish. But what have I had? I mean, I only got here about 1 hour before the game, so I didn't even have a chance to. I haven't even had dinner yet, by the way. Yeah. Maybe I had a little taste of curried something, but I think it was just passed by me on a plate. Yeah.
As you're watching the game, how difficult was it to break your schedule to come to the Caribbean to do cricket?
By the way, it's been. I'm really in the middle of things right now. I just got a couple of angry emails going, "Where exactly are you?" But I really wanted to get out here, and it's great to diversify in life. I have my acting career, but to get involved in this cricket league, especially this, it's a really exciting new venture, and it feels like a cool thing to be a part of. So if I can do that and the acting and other things, then I'm happy.
Well, Digicel, as you know, have been sponsors of West Indies cricket since 2004. And we've had a very successful time during that period, both for our brand and for our ability to speak to our customers and touch our customers inside community and community development programs. During the past year, we've been in negotiations after being introduced by the WICB to Virus and to CPL. Their plans are very exciting. It's not just that it's a tournament during 1 month that's going to be huge international broadcast and great fanfare and it's going to be fantastic for the region, but that it brings much more than that. It has a legacy to it. In their plans for the youth development programs, for community programs, for retainer contracts for 60 players across the region, in umpire programs. So we see a real opportunity for development of the sport, and that's pretty much evidenced when you see somebody like Mikey Holding becoming on board as an ambassador for the development side of it, who isn't a 2020 supporter, as a lot of your viewers would know, but who's very much an ardent cricket man. And so that would be a key notification for us that this is all on the right tracks. The other point for us is the amount of trade that's going to be discussed for the region. So you talk about franchise and franchise partners having a good mix between local ownership and international ownership and trade partners coming in, as well as tourism. There's going to be a lot of tourism generated obviously through the CPL, but one of the big factors for us is local employment. The CPL team have always stated clearly that the majority of people who will be employed, both players, staff, playing staff, and local people who would be the primary teams that would always be responsible, whether that be for stadiums or concessions or venue management, plus third parties around that would be providing various promotions and services, hotels, etc. There is a lot of local employment going to be generated by this.
Sports in the world today is a professional business. It's no longer something for amateurs and persons who want to engage in physical maintenance. You can see what's happening in athletics, in football, in tennis. Cricket is no different. And until we have a professional league of our own, it's really going to mean that young people and talented people are going to be looking at other forms of sporting activities apart from cricket. And those who insist and manage to engage in the game are going to find that there is not the wherewithal to keep them at the level which is necessary. Also, it was our view that we have to see cricket as part of a niche area for economic development. Not cricket standing alone. Cricket as a part of sports linked to culture, linked to the hospitality trade, and linked to the creative industries. By being asked to chair the cricket tournament committee, I'm being given an opportunity to help make this recommendation a meaningful reality. And I'm very enthused at the prospect of being able to do so, not just because of my love of the game, but also because I think it is a pillar that could help, particularly at this time, to stimulate economic activity in the region and, of course, remain one of the unifying and cohesive forces within the Caribbean community.
Yeah, we're the underdogs.
Yes.
Our teams are the underdogs.
Yes.
And tonight, our team is fighting well out there.
That's right.
You have to accept that.
I think that T20 is an exhibition, and where Test cricket is concerned, it's like that's an examination. There's a vast difference. This is more or less a lot of entertainment, and I think that I suppose, apart from the game in Barbados, the other games have been quite exciting, and let's hope that it continues in that vein, because we want to see good cricket and intelligent cricket. But I think it's good for the region. At least we have a competition of our own. Not to say that it can rival the IPL, but at least we have something here that we can be proud of.
So we've heard from all the players in the Caribbean Premier League. When we come back on Massey United Insurance's Dine and Length, we hear from the greatest cricketer of all, as well as some other players.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
And welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Dine and Length. And one of our special guests was, of course, the right excellent Sir Gary Sobers.
I came home in 1975, I think, 75 or 76, and I played for Police against Banks. And I remember going up to the ground, and they were talking about this youngster who just came back from England with the Barbados youth team, and how well he'd done and how quick he was. And I remember going into bat early on, and The wicket was a little bit wet, and he came in, he rushed into me, and I played a couple, and then he bowled me a couple of bounces, and I went down and said to him, listen, son, I'm an old man. What do you want to do, knock me down?
How old were you then?
I think I was in my 40s. And he didn't pay any heed to that at all. He came up and started bouncing, so I had to take advantage of him. I think in that match I scored 70 odd. And I think that was our first meeting, and it was a good one because after that, every time Malcolm saw me, he respected me after that. And I remember that he came to me one day and he said, Skipper, he used to call me Skipper, he said, Skipper, I can't get the outswinger. And I said, well, Malcolm, I've been watching you a bit and I think you're running too straight. I said, you know, Michael Holding started this running straight, but look at Michael Holding, he's no bigger than that. You're small too, but Michael had it to perfection. I said, you know, if you come from an angle which you lead into your left shoulder, you'll find that you're able to get body action because it's closed, and you find you get the ball swung away. And he did that, and he started to bowl very well. And a matter of fact, when you listen to all the players who played with him and against him, they reckon he was the best.
Watching it on television, they look as if they're throwing it. Certainly, if not every ball, a high percentage of balls are being thrown.
A high percentage of balls?
Yes.
You're going with that international umpire, John Holder?
Yes, they're throwing a high percentage of the deliveries.
So, but they have both been through the High Performance Center in Australia, the Australian Institute of Sport. They've been passed and brought back into the fold. Your thoughts?
But the fact that they've been passed doesn't mean they can't transgress again. That has happened before. In my Hampshire days, we were playing Leicestershire, and the former great England left-arm spinner Tony Locke, who had been called for throwing, and had remedial work done in his action. And he just threw one out of the blue. It just let it go and it went past the batsman's head. So the fact that you've been cleared doesn't mean you've been cleared forever. Because if you're perceived to have transgressed again, you will be called again.
How do you respond to those individuals who suggest that nearly every spinner in the world is throwing?
Well, it's not just every spinner. The University of Western Australia did a survey on bowlers' actions, and not one bowler bowls with a straight arm. Every bowler has a certain degree of flexion in the elbow on release. And it's just a matter of determining what is a throw, what degree will be allowed before you're called. And the scientists have agreed that a 15 degree is allowed, and anything more than that will be called.
You know, first of all, I think, you know, hats have to go off to Australia. I think they played, I think they just outplayed us in all facets of the game, and maybe caught us a little bit on the hop in terms of how aggressive they were. Not only the way they played the game, but then, you know, also verbally, and you know, they tested our physicality as well. So I think we probably weren't as prepared, probably mentally, for that. And you know, as they've proven in South Africa recently, you know, they're a hard train to stop once they get on a roll. So you know, I think, you know, it's a case now for England really to sort of go back to the drawing board, because I mean, obviously the next Ashes is not too far away, and really get, you know, be prepared for, you know, something similar obviously when the Australians come over here.
In terms of successes on the tour, your name is mentioned as one of the successes, even though you were in fact opening against a resurgent Mitchell Johnson. Tell us a bit about the prospect of facing Mitchell Johnson.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's what Test cricket's really about, isn't it? I mean, it's, you know, he's probably arguably one of the best quicks going around at the moment. You know, he's had a phenomenal sort of 6 months, really. Taking something like nearly 50 wickets, I think, something like that. And you know, make no bones about it, he's, you know, it's fast. But yeah, I think you know, overall, I think in the series, you know, I felt I played him pretty well. I think I had a system, I worked out a system. I think that worked quite nicely against him. You know, he got me I think twice in the series, or 3 times in the series, something like that. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't easy. Make no bones about it. I mean, he was on the money pretty much from the Gabba test right the way through. And you know, like I said, I mean, it's always difficult when, you know, you're facing bowling like that, because it's not only testing your technique but also your physicality as well.
As a kid, you always dreamt of playing for your country, you know, and yeah, it's when it's no longer there, you know, it's obviously it leaves quite a big hole in your life, you know. But you learn to live with it and you move on. But nothing can replace, you know, all those years of playing international cricket.
Your greatest moment playing for South Africa, the South African team actually never won any major international championship. But what was your greatest moment?
I think, you know, I think personally for me, all the World Cups were fantastic. You know, I think I'm quite proud of the World Cup record that I do have. I always wanted to win a World Cup, and you know, unfortunately, never got to that. But I think, if anything, if any game came close to maybe getting to a World Cup semi-final or a World Cup final, but was probably the 4-3-8 game against Australia when we managed to chase it down. You know, so and I had the pound seat, you know, for a few hours in that particular game, and I think everybody remembers it really well that obviously watched it. And you know, to have the centre stage, you know, so to speak, I think that was probably a defining moment in my career.
Look, it suits me. Of course, it suits my nature. You know, out there, a bit of a thespian myself. I did pantomime when I was 11 and 12. I got out there and I like doing it. I've hosted other shows that are a bit crazy, magazine shows in New Zealand. So I like this, and it suits me to get out and want to do that, and I'm happy to do that. So getting in the swimming pool at Sabina, dancing here with the Trinity Posse, all that sort of stuff, I mean, I love. And so, mate, I will be back here, Barry, in a heartbeat.
Where's your next assignment, Danny? The West Indies. They're playing in New Zealand at the end of the year. How do you see that?
Yeah, that'll be a good series, actually. Yeah, that could be a very tight series. Both sides pretty even Stevens in terms of, you know, on the ladder and stuff. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, your bowlers win your test matches. So that'll be the matchup with the bowlers there. New Zealand have got some good bowlers with Trent Boult and Southey. Dougie Bracewell stays fit. Vittori's going to be out now for some time. So there's an opportunity for a young spinner for New Zealand to come in. So, yeah, I expect a tight series with the Windies going to New Zealand.
Give us a you betcha for line and length just before you go.
Oh, line and length, you betcha.
Well, that's our program for today. But before we leave, a very special thank you to Massey United Insurance and, of course, Digicel Sportsmax. And everyone else who has been viewing and watching Massey United Insurance's Line and Length.